Alright guys, so usually I'm in the garage when I start these videos and stuff, and what ended up happening is that Murphy's Law pretty much happened to me today. So for those of you who don't know Murphy's Law, it's pretty much whatever can go wrong will go wrong. There's a blooper in this video that I chose to go ahead and leave in the video or so, because sometimes when you're working on things it just doesn't go right. So it's an interesting thing, but it happens. So anyways, hope you guys enjoy this video, and here it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this started. I'm going to go ahead and start taking off the water pipe across the back of the engine. Let's see, for those of you, it's a water pipe connected to the water pump. It's just a bolt here on the back, pretty much holding it on. Probably end up taking off the starter, some of the accessories, the alternator. I may take off the water pump, and we're going to try to see if I can't unbolt the transmission. If I have enough time, we'll see if we can unbolt the transmission. Okay, so the water pipe is just pretty much put into the water pump with the O-ring. It's just kind of pressed into there. I'm 99.9% certain that I'm going to replace all of the O-rings, because reusing O-ring, I've had plenty of problems before. So not the smartest thing to do to reuse the O-ring. Might as well just go ahead and put in new ones. But yeah, the water pipe probably could be cleaned up some. As you can tell here, it's just kind of this little corrosion stuff, and maybe I'll try to sand it down or clean it up with wire brush or something. Back of the water pump, as you can see, I don't know if you can see the impeller in there. I'll take it apart in a little bit, but like I said, I'm going to go ahead and start on the starter here and take it apart. It should just be 2 bolts right here. Alright, there we go. There's our starter. The teeth don't look to be in bad shape. Teeth, gear, whatever you want to call it. As far as I know, it functions fine, so it'll just be cleaned up and reused. See, and I'm nervous to use my flashlight again, because last video, there's some marks on these teeth for sure. See if I can get a smaller flashlight or something. Alright, so I'm going to try this small flashlight here, and we're going to see how this works. Doesn't put out much light, but let's see if you can see in here. I'm sure you'll see it when I take out the transmission. You can see in here there's some wear on the teeth here to the flywheel. Alright, so now that the starter's out, I want to go ahead and try to unbolt some of this transmission here, and and take care of that. Okay, so I unbolted the transmission, and I had to unbolt the plate with the cover, the flywheel cover, up under here. So for those of you who don't know, there's the plate up under here that I'm talking about, that has the shield for the flywheel. So right here by the oil pan. The other bolts are here, 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 and here. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing separated. Okay, so right off the bat, I can already tell you, I've mentioned in other videos, I knew I had a rear main seal leak. There was oil coming out the back. You do not want a rear main seal leak. Ideally, you don't want any leak at all, obviously. What I did is when I assembled the engine, I knew that the seal was kind of bent. It's the circular seal with the spring in it, and I knew that I'd messed it up, but I was trying to get the thing together, and it was just one of those things to where you don't want to mess up and then, have have to redo it. Oil gets all in the bell housing, gets all over the clutch, and eventually it could just destroy your clutch. And it's, as you can see, there was a leak here. Here is that cover to where it leaked down. The clutch, I'm sure, got covered in some oil. Pressure plate as well. This is an ACT 6-puck clutch. Yeah, look down here in the bell housing, all of this. So it wasn't that dirty when I originally put it together, but this is definitely not what you want to see. So don't neglect the rear main seal. If you mess it up, please fix it. It could cause major issues later on. It happened to be one of those things that I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. And after I put it all together and thought about it, I was wrong. So I'm learning a lot more now. I don't know as much as I need to. I'm still constantly learning. But yeah, that's one of the things I would definitely, please do not neglect your front and rear main seals. The front main seal is not so bad. Rear main seal, got to take all of this stuff apart just to get to it. It's a big pain. So I've mentioned that I have a limited slip differential for this transmission. I am not going to take the transmission casing apart. I'm not going to look into the transmission. I'm not going to take the differential out. I am not that knowledgeable on transmissions. So for me to take this apart would be a bad idea. This, I can take apart and rebuild, no problem. This, I haven't gotten into gearboxes and stuff yet, so I'm going to work on that. And then eventually I want to do some things with it, but I have not touched transmissions yet. So I'm going to unbolt the clutch here and get to the flywheel and get to the back of the motor. So yeah, I'll just unbolt these bolts here, and we'll go through each step. These are 12mm bolts, by the way. I'm curious to see how this clutch is. Like I said, after having that rear main seal, I wouldn't doubt that it's got some problems. I probably need a new clutch, to be honest with you. I haven't put that many miles on it. I put the clutch in when I originally was turbo, but I'll probably go ahead and replace the clutch. Need some wood. Usually you see a lot of videos and stuff and you don't see behind the scenes of what happens when things mess up. That just happened. So yeah, we'll see if I can lift this back up here and get this on the piece of wood. Well, as you can tell, this isn't going as smoothly as I would hope, but this thing's going to all be taken apart and new parts are going to be put on, so the hell with it, right? Pardon my language. Alright, we're sturdy again. As you can tell, this is not going as planned. But all right, now after that catastrophe, let's go ahead and see if we can't get this clutch and flywheel off. That hurt. So there's a pin over here. Here's the clutch coming out. Dowel pins. All right, so here's the pressure plate. Like I said, I bought this whole clutch and pressure plate assembly when I first got the car turboed. I'm fairly certain I could use a new clutch. There's not a whole lot of material that looks like it's here. This is a really good clutch, and for the power level that I was wanting, I think I would do the same. So, but yeah, your clutch and your pressure plate. So, yeah, this used to be yellow. It used to be yellow, as you can see. It It was at one point. It could be again, but no one ever sees it, so it doesn't really matter. And now the flywheel. So I had mentioned when I took the starter off that the flywheel had some teeth that had some gashes in it. The teeth actually look fine here. And from this view, once I have it off, it looked like they were more scarred than normal. I want to have the flywheel resurfaced because that's pretty much a must-have when you change out the clutch and everything. If this seems to be fine, I'm going to take it to a machine shop and see if they can't lighten it some. So, because they don't really have an option for the 4G15s for the aftermarket lightweight aluminum flywheels. So this is something that I'm just going to have to lighten the stock flywheel or so to get a little bit more responsiveness and stuff. The car's pretty much going to be a track car, like that little liveliness and be able to blip the throttle. And it'll have boost, so it'll have power. And it's not going to be like a stop and go traffic kind of thing, so it's not going to be tedious. And they're not going to lighten it so much that it's impossible to drive in stop and go traffic. I had an RX-8 with an aluminum flywheel, and it drove just fine. It was like an 8-pound flywheel or so. It was ACT Pro Light flywheel. Anyways, I had that flywheel, 8 pounds, no problem. Just shedding some weight off this if possible, and decreasing it by, I would hope to say maybe 4 or 5 pounds would be awesome. Any kind of rotational mass that I can reduce would be tremendously great for me, because this, as many of you know, this engine needs as much help as it could possibly get. So the addition of boost, reduction in rotational mass, and so on and so forth would help out. So like I mentioned with the porting video, any little bit helps. And I love the engine too much, even though it just pissed me off too well. It was my fault, but I love the engine too much to give it up. So that's why I'm making these videos. So anyways, all right, so I'm gonna bring out the big guns just in case, because I don't remember what the torque specs are on these. I don't have all the specs in front of me, so just in case, pretty sure this thing's not gonna cut it. So we'll go easy on this. Here's your little plate. Ta-da. So we'll go ahead and just pull this off. All right. So yeah, this thing does weigh a good bit. It really does. I haven't weighed it. My wife would kill me. There's the other side of the plate. The other plate. My wife would probably kill me if I put it on her scale. I don't blame her. It's like a glass scale. I'm sure this thing would just shatter it because of the sharp edges and the way it is. So anyways, this thing will get lightened. I'm not seeing the teeth issue. So they are a little torn here, as you can see. And I'm not sure how big of a problem that's going to be. So I've never heard the grinding noise in the starter not being able to engage or so, and cause any issues. I think this should be fine. I'll talk to the machine shop and make sure and see if they recommend doing anything. So here's the problem down here. I'm sure I feel all the way around here, and I can tell it's caved in at this point down here. So this is where all the oil is getting up past through here and into the bell housing and on the clutch and everything else. So that's I mean, I seriously can feel where it's messed up, because it's all solid all the way around here, and then down here it's pushed in. So I don't think you can see it from here, but yeah, that's where it's at. So let's go ahead and take this other plate off. I need to make sure that I drain the oil and everything and stuff before I really start taking all this stuff apart, but it's pretty much set up now to put on the engine stand. So anyways, yeah, that was interesting. So for right now, I think that's probably just going to be the gist of the video. I got all the accessories and stuff that I was going to take off. That ended up being a lot more of a problem than I thought it was going to be. I mentioned that I was going to make a video last week, and that I was going to post 2 videos this week. So what I'm doing is this is the video to make up for the last week, and then in a few days I'll try to see if I can't get some things sorted out and post another video. So hopefully by that time I get the engine up on the stand. The stand's over there. It actually hasn't been used in a while. I'll figure out if I actually have all the bolts and everything to bolt it up to the stand and put it on there, and then we can actually start getting into the engine and tearing it down. But like I said earlier, you know, not everything goes right when you go to take things apart. This thing slipping off the pallet and stuff was not fun. But I don't want to edit that out, so you can laugh at my expense. It happens. Things happen sometimes. It's just no big deal. I just, you know, that's part of life. So anyways, yeah, I hope you guys kind of got an understanding of the transmission being bolted up to the engine and the clutch and flywheel and how everything's kind of taken apart. And you know, we're going to put it all back together eventually. Like I said, the engine's going to get rebuilt with stronger rods and everything like I mentioned. So there'll be plenty of videos. It's a little slow. It may be a while because I don't really have the funds to buy the rods and everything right now. So taking everything apart, getting things machined, and finding out where the weak points are and what I'll need to replace. So obviously it needs new gasket seals, all that other kind of stuff. So and then I'm gonna see if I can't get the valve cover powder coated, because this thing is just it's shot, well, paint wise. But anyways, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I look forward to making a couple more. This is this is what happens. This is what happens when you work on stuff. So I usually don't stay clean. I don't really wear gloves most of the time. So yeah. Anyways, take care. See you later.